now we will continue with the police inquest only. We have finished with coroner's inquest. So how the police inquest is carried out? We had started yesterday with police inquest. So it is the inquiry into the cause of any unnatural or suspected death that is carried out by a police officer. The police officer should not be below the rank of senior head constable. When the police officer will get the information about such a unnatural death or any death, the police, yes, or latecomers. Okay, let's see. Okay, fine. So when this inquest is carried out by the police, it is called as police inquest. When the police officer, or we will call it as investigating police officer. So when such a investigating police officer will get the information or message about such a natural death or any death, he will inform it to the nearby magistrate and will proceed to the place of offense. That police officer will go to the place of offense. He will inquire into the cause of death in presence of two or more respectable panchas, witnesses called as panchas. They should be from nearby locality, can be sarpanch, deputy sarpanch, gram panchayat member, if it is from rural area, or even the what we call it as police patil, like that. So any respected person from that village or from the nearby locality, they are to be taken. At least two respected panchayats should be taken, and he will prepare the panchanama report. He will prepare the report called as panchanama or inquest report. So this panchanama can be asked as a 2 mark question. It is signed by the investigating police officer and by the those two panchas. If if after performing all the investigations and all the panchanama and all, looking for the body, clothes on the body, different types of injuries, what is there is nearby lying near the body, in which position is body in the lying, he will take the photographs and all, what that total procedure of investigation at the site of the incidents, what we call it as panchanama. He will prepare the report of such investigation called as panchanama. And even after conducting such investigation at the site of the incidents, if if the person is not sure, that investigating police officer is not sure about the cause of death, he will send the body for post-mortem examination. So body will be sent to the medical officer along with requisition report, along with the requisition sheet and inquest report, whatever the details he has found on the body, beside the body, उसे डेड बॉडी के बदन पे जो भी कपड़े रहेंगे, ऑर्नामेंट्स रहेंगे, इंजुरीज रहेंगे, whatever that investigating police officer will find on the body and nearby the dead body, that all are to be written in detail on a paper, what we call it as panchanama report, and that is also sent to the investigating police officer along with request to perform post-mortem examination for finding the cause of the death, autopsy or post-mortem examination. And this panchanama or inquest report is prepared in 3 copies. It is prepared in 3 copies. The one copy will remain with the investigating police officer himself, another will be sent to the superintendent of police or to the magistrate, and third will be written for further reference in his office. In some places, in certain places, fourth copy is also prepared, which is sent to the civil surgeon. That is not mandatory, but because the body is ultimately going to the government hospital for post-mortem examination, but still at some places the fourth copy is prepared and sent to the civil surgeon. Now we will see the difference or comparison between police inquest and coroner's inquest. So we have seen all the details of coroner's inquest. Now while comparing police and coroner's inquest is always considered to be superior over the police inquest. Now let's see what are the causes. So coroner's inquest is always considered superior to the police inquest because because coroner is associated with forensic medicine. Coroner is having good knowledge of forensic medicine. That's why he will investigate on the line, right line or on the right track. But this police, whoever that senior head constable, maybe police sub inspector or whatever may be the rank, he is not having that much knowledge of forensic medicine. That's why he will indiscriminately will have to go on sending the body for postmortem examination. He will not be able to identify the cause of death in doubtful cases. So coroner is having good knowledge of forensic medicine, because who is coroner? He is either uh, metropolitan magistrate, or we have seen who can be the coroner, which is carried out in Mumbai. Who can be coroner? The person who is appointed as a coroner is already from the field of from the field of this courts, or from the law. He is already from the field of law. That's why he will have good knowledge of forensic medicine. That's why he can investigate on the right line. I am saying investigation limited to finding the cause of death, only up to the finding the cause of death. And here the knowledge of coroner will be very good in case of forensic medicine. That's why he will not he can conduct the investigation on the right track. Yes. Okay, I will see. Okay, got everyone? Okay, keep me informing if there is any other person is latecomer. Okay, so coroner, because is associated with forensic medicine, he can investigate on the right track. He can judge the manner of death. He can judge the manner of death. Therefore, he doesn't send the bodies for post-mortem examination indiscriminately. If the such a panchanama or such a inquest is carried out by the police, police will send each and every dead body for post-mortem examination, because they don't have that much knowledge of forensic medicine. They may not be able to detect the cause of the death. That's why they will send each and every body for post-mortem examination. And if such an investigation into cause of death is carried out by the person related with or associated with forensic medicine, like coroner or magistrate, they are having good knowledge of forensic medicine. That's why they will not send each and every body for post-mortem examination. So that is the advantage. He can judge the manner of death, therefore doesn't send the bodies for post-mortem examination indiscriminately. And another important advantage of coroner's inquest over police inquest is there is no requirement of पंचाज. वहाँ पंच लोगों की जरूरत नहीं होती है, what we call it as a witness, who will sign that police inquest. So there is no question of reliability. Now you know how the police will work. कोई भी दो लोगों को, उनके फेवर के दो लोगों को बुला के लाएंगे, कुछ भी रिपोर्ट बनाएंगे, रिपोर्ट बना के उन लोगों का साइन ले लेंगे, and that's why there can be a question of reliability. But here only the coroner or only the magistrate is going to perform the investigation and to prepare the report. That's why there is no question of reliability of panchas and all. But here, while preparing the panchanama or report of the police inquest, there is the question of reliability of those two panchas which have been brought from the nearby places or nearby locality, who may be any of the so-called respected person from the nearby locality. So this is about police inquest. You can write a short note on police inquest. So police inquest, the police has to be at least up to the level of senior head constable. There is requirement of two panchas, that is respectable witnesses from the locality. The report prepared is called as panchanama. And if not sure about the cause of the death, the body is to be sent to the post-mortem examination or autopsy. Report is to be prepared, 3 copies. Then okay, we'll go to third type of inquest, that is magistrates inquest. Third type of inquest or magistrates inquest. The name only tells you the inquiry conducted by magistrate. Again, inquiry means inquiry into cause of death. Inquiry into cause of death is carried out by magistrate. So, in which cases magistrates inquest is required? I have enlisted a few examples. admission of a mentally ill person in psychiatric hospital. If any mentally ill person, or the person who is getting the treatment for his mental illness, or a psychiatric patient is receiving his or her treatment in the psychiatric hospital, and if such a psychiatric patient dies in the psychiatric hospital, the inquest is carried out by magistrate, not by police, not by coroner, no. So the person who is dead in psychiatric hospital receiving the treatment, the inquest should be carried out by magistrate. Then death of convict in a jail. Death of convict in a jail. If any person who is receiving his punishment, maybe for 1 year, 2 years, 7 year, whatever, the person is receiving the imprisonment depending upon his crime, if he is in the jail, and if such a person dies in a jail, the inquest will be carried out by magistrate. Then death of a person in a police custody. If any person dies in police custody, cause of the inquiry about the cause of the death will be carried out by magistrate. And death by police firing, म्हणजे काही तो रायटिंग दंगल वगैरे झाली कुठं बाहेर, तर if any person dies in police firing, into the inquiry into the cause of such deaths caused by police firing will also be carried out by magistrate. And exhumation. Exhumation is, I have told you in the last lecture in short about exhumation. Exhumation is digging out the buried body. If the buried body is again taken out from the grave, its investigation into the cause of death will be carried out by magistrate. Now I think there might be one doubt in your mind if you are not knowing what is the difference between jail and custody. Death of convict in a jail and death of a person in a police custody. Jail means whose crime has been proved, whose crime has been proved in the court, and court has sent that person to the jail maybe for 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, depending upon his crime. The person is receiving the punishment. But the difference between the jail and custody, when the person is put into the custody, I give you an example. मतलब कहीं तो भी छोटा मोटा, maybe छोटा मोटा any type of incidents has occurred, any suspected person has been caught. Or I give you a very simple example. Say for example, from any ST bus stop, or from railway station, any pocket picker has been caught by the police. Any pocket picker has been caught by the police. So that police will not immediately take him to the court. He will keep him for some investigation or for some time in his custody, in his police station, maybe for one night. So आज उसे पकड़ा है, कल सुबह उसे कोर्ट में लेके जाना है. तो बाय द टाइम जब तक वो पुलिस कस्टडी में, पुलिस की हिरासत में रहेगा, दैट इज पुलिस कस्टडी. You are getting the difference, jail and custody. Still the crime is not proved. By that time the police, that person is kept in the, what we call it as suspected. The suspected is kept in the police custody. अभी आज शाम को या आज दोपहर को उसे पकड़ा है, कल सुबह उसे कोर्ट में लेके जाना है, तो तब तक उसे जो पुलिस कस्टडी में, पुलिस हिरासत में रखा जाएगा, दैट इज द पर्सन इन अ पुलिस कस्टडी. लेकिन उस दौरान उसकी मौत हो सकती है रात को वगैरह, या तो पुलिस के मारने की वजह से हुई, या उसने सुसाइड की, या उसे हार्ट अटैक आया. बाय एनी मीन्स द पर्सन कैन डाई इन द पुलिस कस्टडी. सो इफ एनी पर्सन dies in the police custody, that investigation should also be carried out by magistrate, not by police, not by coroner. So got the difference? The person in a jail, convict in a jail, and person in a police custody. So all these cases of death will be investigated by magistrate. So what is the aim of inquest? Aim of inquest: no person who is particularly magistrate inquest, no person who is deprived of his liberty can die as a result of neglect or brutality by the people in whose charge he is. That is about the magistrate inquest. बिकॉज या तो जेल में हो तो वो किसके हाथ के नीचे होगा? जेलर की निगरानी के नीचे होगा. पुलिस कस्टडी में होगा तो वो उस पुलिस स्टेशन का जो भी इंचार्ज रहेगा, पुलिस सब इंस्पेक्टर या जो भी ऑफिसर रहेगा, उसकी निगरानी में रहेगा, उसकी जिम्मेदारी में होगा. या तो मेंटल हॉस्पिटल में होगा, साइकेट्रिक हॉस्पिटल में होगा, तो उस डॉक्टर के रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी के नीचे होगा. और बाय ब्रुटैलिटी, निग्लेक्ट और ब्रुटैलिटी बाय द पीपल इन हुज चार्ज ही इज, तो जिसके नीचे वो आदमी है, या तो मेंटल हॉस्पिटल में होगा, या कस्टडी में होगा या जेल में होगा, ऐसे हालत में किसी की निगरानी में होते हुए अगर उसकी मौत होती है, सो दैट इज द लिबर्टी कैन डाई एज अ रिजल्ट ऑफ निग्लेक्ट और ब्रूटलिटी। तो उसके उसे वो लिबर्टी मिली है कि नहीं, उस एज अ ह्यूमन दैट पर्सन हैज बीन ट्रीटेड इन दैट एरिया और नॉट, for that investigation the magistrate inquest is carried out. So aim of magistrate inquest is not a single person who is deprived of his liberty can die as a result of neglect, या तो निगलेक्ट की वजह से या ब्रुटैलिटी और इनह्यूमन बिहेवियर की वजह से बाय द पीपल इन हुज चार्ज दैट पर्सन इज, वो जिसके हाथ के नीचे और जिसके कंट्रोल के नीचे वो वहाँ कस्टडी में या हॉस्पिटल में या जेल में है, उन लोगों के हाथ से किसी भी इनह्यूमन या ब्रुटलिटी की वजह से वो आदमी नहीं मरना चाहिए। And second important thing we have seen here, see exhumation. You can see here exhumation. If the person, any dead body is buried, if you are not sure about the identity or cause of the death, so to identify the person who has been buried or to find the cause of the death who has been buried, such type of reburial, such type of digging out is to be performed. The body is taken out, called as exhumation, and thorough investigation is carried out, and again the body is buried. So these are the three types of inquest: police inquest, magistrate inquest, and coroner's. These three types of inquest are carried out in India. And one more inquest is medical examiner system. Medical examiner system, which is carried out in USA, where doctors are appointed to carry out the investigation into cause of death, which is common in USA. So these are the three types of inquest. So we have already finished in the previous lecture courts. Now we will go to one important document, that is summons. Summons is asked as a 2-mark question. Summons or subpoena, that is called as subpoena or summons. Summons, you might have heard this term so many times. So summons, it is the document कंपेलिंग टू अटेंडेंस ऑफ अ विटनेस इन अ कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ अंडर पेनल्टी। मतलब कोर्ट में हाजिर होने के लिए जो डॉक्यूमेंट और जो लेटर दिया जाता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज समन्स। सो समन्स इज अ डॉक्यूमेंट कंपेलिंग टू अटेंडेंस ऑफ अ विटनेस इन अ कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ। इट इज इश्यूड बाय द कोर्ट इन राइटिंग, इट हैज टू बी ऑलवेज इन राइटिंग। कोई भी ऐसा आके बोलेगा नहीं कि चलो आपको कल या अगले हफ्ते कोर्ट में बुलाया है, इट हैज टू बी इन राइटिंग। इट इज इन डुप्लीकेट एंड इट इज साइन बाय द प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर ऑफ कोर्ट। तो जिस किसी कोर्ट ने वो भेजा है किसी को प्रेजेंट रहने के लिए कोर्ट में, उस कोर्ट का जो जज रहेगा, उसका जो मैजिस्ट्रेट रहेगा, उसका साइन रहेगा उसके ऊपर। सो समन्स इज इश्यूड बाय कोर्ट इन राइटिंग, it is always in duplicate, so that received signature will be taken by the person to whom it is to be issued, and it is signed by the presiding officer of the court. Then it is given either by the police officer, it is given either by the police officer or any officer of the court में से कोई तो officer होगा, or by a public servant. Now it will come in 2 copies to the witness. Witness के घर पे वो 2 कॉपी में लाया जाएगा. Then the witness will retain 1 copy with himself and will return another with duly signed. Received करके उस पर साइन लेके करके वो उस जो भी ऑफिसर उसके पास लेके आया है, पब्लिक सर्वेंट या ऑफिसर ऑफ द कोर्ट और पुलिस ऑफिसर जो भी आया है, उसके पास वो साइन करके, रिसीव्ड करके साइन करके उसे वापस दे देगा. सो विटनेस विल रिटेन 1 copy and will return another to the person who has brought it to him. Then after receiving the witness, after receiving the summons, the witness must attend the court. It is compulsory, must attend the court, should give evidence in the court and produce the documents or articles required by the court. तो तुम्हें किसी चीज के लिए as a witness कोर्ट में बुलाया गया है तो क्या करना पड़ेगा? The witness will have to go into the court, विल हैव टू गिव एविडेंस, उसे जो भी सवाल पूछे जाएंगे उसको उसे ठीक से जवाब देना पड़ेगा, एंड प्रोड्यूस द डॉक्यूमेंट्स, तो मेडिकल सर्टिफिकेट ना, बिकॉज बीइंग द डॉक्टर्स, अगर डॉक्टर को समन्स आता है किसी केस के लिए तो ही विल हैव टू प्रोड्यूस ऑल द डॉक्यूमेंट्स लाइक इन्वेस्टिगेशंस, व्हाट ट्रीटमेंट हैज बीन गिवन, व्हाट सर्टिफिकेट्स यू हैड इशूड, ऑल दिस डिटेल शुड बी produced by the doctor while standing in front of the court. So you should must attend the court after receiving the summons, should give the evidence and produce the documents, articles, whatever they have been asked by the court or required by the court. If you fail to obey the summons, if you fail to obey the summons, you have received the summons but you have not present, you are not present in the court, you have not attended the case during the proceedings. In case of civil case the court can impose you fine, so fine भरना पड़ेगा. And in case of criminal case, if it is a criminal case of murder like that, uh, fine can be applied, then imprisonment or अरेस्ट वारंट कैन बी देयर. एक दो तीन समन्स अगर तुमने रिजेक्ट किया, मतलब गए नहीं तुम समन्स मिलके भी, तो तुम्हारा अरेस्ट वारंट भी निकल सकता है. प्लीज म्यूट योर सेल्फ, प्लीज म्यूट योर सेल्फ. ओके, सो इन केस ऑफ क्रिमिनल केसेस फाइन किया जाएगा, जो आपको अरेस्ट भी हो सकती है, और इवन द अरेस्ट वारंट कैन बी इशूड बाय द कोर्ट. सो द पुलिस विल कम यू एंड पिक यू अप, विल अरेस्ट यू and will take you to the police station if you don't attend the court in case of criminal cases. Doctors can have excuse if the doctor is ill or having some emergency services कि बाबा मेरे पेशेंट थे, आई वॉज बिजी इन माई हॉस्पिटल, या मुझे कुछ इमरजेंसी ड्यूटी थी, दैट्स व्हाई आई couldn't attend the court. Like this the doctor will have to give in writing, and doctor can have excuses if he himself is ill or having some emergency services in his clinic or hospital. Then another very commonly asked 2-mark question is conduct money. I have already told you about conduct money. Conduct money is commonly asked as a 2-mark question. So this conduct money is the traveling expense. These are the traveling expenses. They are applicable in civil cases. I am mentioning it in civil cases. Conduct money is applicable only in civil cases and not in the criminal cases. It is to be paid by the party that has called him as a witness. So जिस किसी पार्टी ने मतलब अभी दो पार्टीज रहेंगी कोर्ट में, एक के सामने एक इन फ्रंट ऑफ ईच अदर, तो इनमें से जिस किसी पार्टी ने बोला है कि हाँ ये डॉक्टर को एज अ विटनेस हमारे केस में बुलाओ उनको, उनके स्टेटमेंट के लिए, तो जो भी पार्टी बुलाएगी डॉक्टर को, या टू एनी विटनेस, बिकॉज वी आर डॉक्टर्स, आई विल बी टॉकिंग ऑफ डॉक्टर ओनली बिकॉज डॉक्टर विल बी कंसिडर्ड एज एक्सपर्ट विटनेस. तो कोई दो में से कोई पार्टी बोलती है कि हाँ बाबा ये डॉक्टर को बुलाओ, उनके पास हम गए थे या उनके पास हमारे सब डॉक्यूमेंट्स है वगैरह, तो डॉक्टर को उनका स्टेटमेंट देने के लिए व्हेन द डॉक्टर विल बी कॉल्ड बाय वन पार्टी, दैट पार्टी विल हैव टू पे द fees, what we call it as conduct money, to the doctor. And if it is a medical witness, in case of medical witness, if any doctor is called as an expert witness for any case, if the fees are inadequate, मतलब वो पैसा अगर बहुत कम दे रहा है, if that party is giving very inadequate fees, the doctor can ask or request the courts to get it increased or get it enhanced by informing it to the court. If the fees are inadequate, यू कैन रिक्वेस्ट द कोर्ट कि अरे ये मैं मेरा पूरा दिन का क्लिनिक हॉस्पिटल छोड़ के आया, आने जाने का खर्चा इतना हुआ और ये बहुत कम मुझे फ़ी दे रहे हैं, तो डॉक्टर कैन गेट इट इन एनहांस्ड और इंक्रीज्ड बाय इन्फॉर्मिंग इट टू द कोर्ट. बट इन क्रिमिनल केसेस इट इज़ ए मैंडेटरी ड्यूटी. इन क्रिमिनल केसेस अगर मर्डर का वगैरह कोई ऐसा खून का कोई केस है, तो उसमें इन क्रिमिनल केसेस नो सच कंडक्ट मनी इज गिवन. सो इट इज़ नॉट एट ऑल अलाउड इन केस ऑफ क्रिमिनल केसेस. डॉक्टर और एनी अदर विटनेस विल हैव टू गो इन टू द कोर्ट without expecting any conduct money. So you can write in 2 lines. So conduct money is the traveling expenses given in civil cases and it is paid by the party which has called him as a witness. Now one thing can happen, now this is not so common with private practitioners. If it is a medical officer or government servants, मतलब गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल में काम करने वाले डॉक्टर रहेंगे, तो उनके पास बहुत सारे पोस्टमार्टम के केसेस रहते हैं, मारा मारी के वगैरह इंजरी सर्टिफिकेट के केसेस रहते हैं, मतलब बहुत सारे उनके पास दिन में बहुत सारे केसेस आते हैं, उनमें से बहुत सारे केसेस कोर्ट में आ जाते हैं. सो दिस मेडिकल ऑफिसर्स हु आर वर्किंग इन द गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल, दे आर रिपीटेडली कॉल्ड इन द courts, in the different courts, and it can happen that that medical officer will receive the invitation, I will call it as invitation, from court only. So when such a summons will be received from 2 different courts, if such invitations or summons are received by the same medical officer by 2 different courts, what that medical officer should do, he will have to honor, he will have to respect the invitation and will have to go to the court for to give his evidence or submit the documents and all. But if the doctor receives the conduct money, these summons from 2 different courts, if the one invitation or if the one summons is from criminal court and one summons is from civil court, he should first attend the criminal court. He should first attend the criminal court. He can skip the civil court, but he will have to inform in the civil court that I have received the two summons of the same day, same time, but as a rule I will have to go first to the criminal case because it is more important. I can attend the court for that civil case later on. He will have to give it in writing to the civil court. Then higher court should be preferred. I give you example. If any doctor receives the two summons at a time, one summons is from district session court and another summons is from say High Court of Mumbai High Court, and another is from session court Pune, district session court Pune. So which court the doctor will attend? The doctor will have to attend High Court. Doctor will have to attend High Court, and he will have to inform in writing to the session court Pune that because I have got the summons from both the courts at a time, I will have to attend the High Court first, and on the next date I will attend the district session court Pune. Like he will have to prefer the higher court. And if the courts of the same status are there, मतलब ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि दो अलग अलग केसेस के एक ही दिन के उसे दो इनविटेशन आए हैं दो अलग अलग कोर्ट में से, एक कोर्ट है पुणे का और एक कोर्ट है अहमदनगर का, बोथ आर फ्रॉम session court, both are from the same status. He will have to attend the court whose summon has been received first. तो एक समन समझो 10 तारीख को आया, एक समन 12 तारीख को आया, तो he will have to attend the court of who has given him the earlier summons. तो 10 तारीख को आया वो अटेंड करेगा, और जिसका लेट आया है उसको उसे राइटिंग में इन्फॉर्म करना पड़ेगा, I have received the two summons of both the courts which where I will have to present on the same day. I can attend only one court, but because I have received this summons earlier, so I will attend this court, and he will have to inform it in writing to the another court where he cannot go. So in this way he will have to decide which court he is supposed to attend. So this is about summons. Summons is generally asked as a short note. If not asked as a short note, it can be asked as a 2-mark question just as a definition. You will have to write in short about summons, and another 2-mark question is conduct money. Very commonly asked 2-mark question is conduct money. So it is the traveling expenses given in case of civil cases, not applicable in criminal cases. Okay, one more 2-mark question. One more 2-mark question is dying declaration. Dying declaration is again another commonly asked 2-mark question. So dying declaration, the name only tells you if any person is seriously injured. If any person is seriously injured and a doctor is not sure this person can die within a short period of time or can become unconscious or can go into coma, anything bad can happen with the doctor, and when you want to take the note or when you want to take the statement of such a critically ill patient, whatever the statement you will write down, that is called as dying declaration. The dying declaration, it is called in Marathi as मृत्यू पूर्व जवाब. It is called as डाइंग डिक्लेरेशन इन मराठी. इट इज कॉल्ड एज मृत्यु पूर्व जवाब. मतलब अभी वो आदमी थोड़ी देर बाद या तो बेहोश होने वाला है या कोमा में जा सकता है या मर भी सकता है, और उसे कुछ तो बोलना है कि बाबा उसकी ये कंडीशन ऐसे कैसे हुई, वो कैसे इंज्योर हुआ, ये अगर उसे डिटेल में बोलना है तो जो भी वो स्टेटमेंट देगा that is called as dying declaration. Just what is the written I have in the first line, that is verbal or written statement made by a person narrating the cause of his condition. मतलब उसकी अभी ये जो condition हुई है किस वजह से हुई है, narrating the cause of his condition or circumstances leading to his डेथ. मतलब ये इतनी बुरी हाल में वो क्यों है, मतलब समझो बुरी तरह से जल गई, कोई औरत समझो बुरी तरह से जल गई है, शी हैज़ बीन एडमिटेड इन द हॉस्पिटल एंड नाउ शी इज़ नैरेटिंग कि बाबा गैस लीक हुआ या सिलेंडर में से कुछ प्रॉब्लम हुआ या किसी ने तो उसे जला दिया, उसकी सास ने जला दिया, वॉट एवर स्टेटमेंट शी इज गोइंग टू गिव, whatever statement she is going to give will be considered as dying declaration. That is to be taken in writing, maybe verbal or can be taken in writing form. In all criminal and civil cases where cause of death is under inquiry, मतलब उस particular person की ऐसी हालत क्यों हुई है, that will be narrated by the person. So in all the criminal cases and in civil cases where the cause of death is under inquiry, this dying declaration plays very important role. It will play very important role. अटेंडिंग डॉक्टर शुड अरेंज द मैजिस्ट्रेट इन केस ऑफ क्रिमिनल वायलेंस, मतलब डॉक्टर को दिख रहा है कि उसे चाकू मारा है या गोली मारी है, ऐसा कुछ तो वायलेंस के साइन दिखेंगे उसे कि दूसरे किसी आदमी ने इसे मारने की कोशिश की है. सो इन सच केसेस द अटेंडिंग डॉक्टर शुड अरेंज द मैजिस्ट्रेट इफ पॉसिबल, considering the distance, time and all. If the magistrate is able to reach in time, the doctor should arrange the magistrate. And if the patient is very serious, can anytime patient can die or can become unconscious or can go into coma, then the doctor should not wait for the arrival of the magistrate. The doctor should not wait for the arrival of the magistrate, and the doctor can record the statement himself. And if the time permits, he should go for arrangement of the magistrate. So dying declaration is a verbal or written statement made by a person narrating cause of his condition or the circumstances leading to his death. It is important in all the criminal cases and in those civil cases where the cause of death is under inquiry. Attending doctor should arrange for magistrate if time permits, in case of criminal violences particularly, and if the patient is very serious, the doctor himself can record the statement of the patient and can forward it to the magistrate. Now, what are the rules or what care should be taken for taking the dying declaration? You got what is dying declaration? अभी आदमी कुछ बहुत सीरियसली इल है, कुछ ही देर में मरने वाला है, सीरियस होने वाला है, तो उसकी ये हालत क्यों हुई है, उसे किसने मारा, या वो खुद होके कुछ प्रॉब्लम हुआ है, वो या सुसाइड थी, जो भी वो आदमी बोलेगा, दैट इज टू बी रिकॉर्डेड बाय द doctor or if possible magistrate, what we call it as mrityu purva jawab, that is very important in the court. So what are the what care should be taken to record this dying declaration? First very important thing is patient should be in a state of sound mental condition, what we call it as compos mentis. Compos mentis is also asked as a 2-mark question. It is so many times it has been asked as a 2-mark question. So what is compos mentis? Compos mentis means sound mental condition, मतलब उसे पूछे गए सवालों का मतलब समझ में आ रहा है. The person can understand the questions asked to him as well as he knows what he is speaking. Compos mentis मतलब मी माझ्या पूर्ण शुद्धीमध्ये असं लिहून देतो की, यू नो दैट लाइन गिवन ऑन एनी कंसेंट फॉर्म, मैं अपने पूरे होशो हवास में ये लिख कर देता हूँ कि, दैट इज कॉम्पोज मेंटिस. होशो हवास में मतलब किसी का मेरे ऊपर प्रेशर नहीं है, एंड उसे द पर्सन कैन अंडरस्टैंड द मीनिंग ऑफ द क्वेश्चन एंड द पर्सन कैन अंडरस्टैंड or what he is speaking. He knows what he is speaking. The condition is called as compos mentis. So patient should be in a sound mental condition. ऐसा नहीं कि वो unconscious है या semi conscious है, सामने वाला क्या बोल रहा है वो समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, वो खुद क्या बोल रहा है वो भी समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. That is not compos mentis. So patient has to be in a state of compos mentis. And it should be certified by the attending doctor that the patient is in a state of compos mentis and the declaration is read over to him and he accepted it being correctly recorded. मतलब उसने जो कुछ भी लिखा है वो वापस उसे पढ़ के दिखाना है. वो मीन टाइम वो अगर अनकॉन्शियस नहीं हुआ, मर नहीं गया, तो जो कुछ भी उसका स्टेटमेंट उसने लिख के दिया है वो उसे वापस पढ़ के दिखाना है. So it should be certified by the attending doctor that patient is in a state of compos mentis. The declaration or whatever the cause or whatever the points he has given, they should be read over to the person and he has accepted it being correctly recorded. हाँ, मैंने जैसे बोला है वैसे ही डॉक्टर ने लिखा है, that should be accepted by the person. Then it should be recorded in vernacular in presence of 2 witness. So वहाँ वो लिख के लेते वक्त वहाँ 2 witness भी present होनी चाहिए. Then it should be present in question as well as answer form. So what question you have asked, that should be written on the paper, and what answer the person has given, that should be recorded in the identical words. पेशंट जिस वर्ड्स में ज्या शब्दामध्ये पेशंट सांगेल त्याच शब्दामध्ये लिहायचं. सो इट शुड बी रेकॉर्डेड इन वर्नाकुलर, दॅट इज द लँग्वेज ऑफ द पर्सन, in presence of 2 witnesses, and question and answer should be recorded in identical word. जो भी सवाल पूछा है वैसे ही लिखना है, जो भी आंसर उसने दिया है 2 वर्ड में दिया होगा, लंबा दिया होगा, वॉट एवर द आंसर दैट पर्सन हैज गिवन, दैट शुड बी मेंशन्ड इन द exactly in the same words as given by the patient. Okay, so any problem up to here? Everyone is getting, you're getting what I am saying? Is it too fast? Is it too fast or speed is okay? Or should I slow down it furthermore? Are you comfortable with this type of lecture teaching? Okay, hardly last 5 minutes. Hardly 5 minutes. I will stop for today. आ गई क्या सब? हेलो. कालच आणून ठेवलेत काल सकाळी. हो 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 हो. आले का सगळे? कोण राहिले? ओके, कोणी आलं तर मला सांगा परत. आय विल कंटिन्यू. ओके, सो अरे काय होतंय? So the patient, you can hear me? Should I continue? Okay, 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 okay. I will continue. So, for taking the dying declaration, patient has to be in sound mental condition. What we call it as compos mentis. Then it should be certified by the doctor that the patient is in a state of compos mentis. The declaration should be read over to him after complete recording, and it is accepted being correctly recorded. It should be recorded in the same words given by the victim or by the person, and it should be in presence of two witnesses. No leading question should be asked. No leading question means the questions which suggest the answer. मतलब ऐसे नहीं पूछना है तुम्हें तुम्हारे सांस ने जलाया, नॉट लाइक दैट. तुम कैसे जल गई ऐसे पूछो. तुम्हें किसी ने तुम्हें तुम्हारी सांस ने मारा ऐसे मत पूछो. नो लीडिंग क्वेश्चन. द क्वेश्चंस which will suggest the answer should not be asked. So no leading question should be asked. It should be signed by the witnesses, medical attendant or the treating doctor, and the patient. If the patient is not able to sign because of injuries and all, you can take the left thumb impression of the patient. Now another thing can happen while recording this dying declaration is the patient can die in between or can become unconscious. While recording this dying declaration, patient can die in between or can become unconscious. The doctor should record as much information as has obtained and should sign it himself. तो यहाँ अभी patient की तो sign नहीं ले सकता, thumb impression भी नहीं ले सकता, so you can leave it as it is. So if the patient dies in between or becomes unconscious, the doctor should record whatever the information or whatever the statement given by the patient and should sign it himself, and it should be forwarded in a sealed cover to the magistrate. It should be forwarded in a sealed cover to the magistrate. Investigating police officer, very important condition while recording the dying declaration. Investigating police officer should not be present while recording dying declaration, because under the pressure or maybe because of fear or pressure of the investigating police officer, the proper statement may not be given. So investigating police officer should not be present in the room or beside the bed of the person while recording dying declaration. It is very important evidence in criminal case. It is very important evidence in case of criminal case if the patient dies. एंड वन थिंग कैन हैपन, हमने वो पेशेंट सीरियस होने वाला है, मर सकता है, इसलिए हमने उसका डाइंग डिक्लेरेशन लिया. लेकिन ऐसे भी हो सकता है कि ट्रीटमेंट के बाद पेशेंट एकदम ठीक हो जाए. पेशेंट कैन रिकवर नाइसली एंड कैन गो टू द कोर्ट. सो इफ द पेशेंट सर्वाइव्स, पेशेंट ने डाइंग डिक्लेरेशन दिया लेकिन ट्रीटमेंट के बाद पेशेंट हैज सर्वाइव्ड, so it has dying declaration has no legal value. So dying declaration is having no legal value. The declarant himself can come to the court and can be cross examined by the opposite lawyer. So अगर आदमी बीच में ही मर जाता है या dying declaration रिकॉर्ड करने के बाद मर जाता है, so this dying declaration will have very much importance, very much legal importance, or it is be a important evidence in case of criminal cases. But if the victim survives, if the victim survives, this dying declaration has no legal value. अभी उस कागज की कोई कीमत नहीं है, क्योंकि that declarant can himself go to the court and he can be cross examined by the opposite lawyer. Then another term, it is commonly asked as a 2-mark question. Another commonly asked 2-mark question is dying deposition. So what is dying deposition? It is statement very much close to the dying declaration, but slight difference that you will come to know in the definition only. So dying deposition is statement made by that ill person or the dying person on oath by a dying person to a magistrate in presence of accused एंड हिज लॉयर हु कैन क्रॉस एग्जामाइन हिम. तो पहले वाले में सिर्फ डॉक्टर रहेगा, 2 विटनेस रहेंगे, लेकिन यहाँ जो भी सस्पेक्टेड पर्सन है, जो भी अक्यूज्ड है, वो भी रहेगा और उसका वकील भी वहां हो सकता है जो उसे क्रॉस एग्जामिनेशन कर सकता है, क्वेश्चन पूछ सकता है. दिस इज कॉल्ड एज डाइंग डिपोजिशन. सो डाइंग डिपोजिशन इज द स्टेटमेंट मेड बाय द डाइंग पर्सन और क्रिटिकली इल पर्सन मेड बाय द ओथ. या हम उसकी शपथ भी लेंगे कि जो भी बोलूंगा सच के सिवा कुछ नहीं बोलूंगा, वो भी दैट ओथ विल आल्सो बी टेकन बाय डाइंग पर्सन टू अ मैजिस्ट्रेट इन प्रेजेंस ऑफ एक्यूज्ड. तो वहां वो सस्पेक्टेड भी रहेगा और उसका लॉयर भी रहेगा जो उसे क्रॉस क्वेश्चन कर सकता है. अगेन द सेम कंडीशन, द पर्सन हैज टू बी इन ए स्टेट ऑफ compos mentis. The person has to be in a state of compos mentis. This statement, dying deposition, this statement is having more legal weight because it is recorded by the magistrate and it has been cross examined by the opposite lawyer. You are getting the difference, dying declaration and dying deposition. Dying deposition के टाइम अपोजिट लॉयर भी होगा, सस्पेक्टेड भी होगा और वहाँ जो भी कुछ स्टेटमेंट देगा, हाँ इसने मुझे जलाकर मारा है, हाँ इसने मुझे चाकू मारा था, तो इसके ऊपर वो अपोजिट लॉयर उसे सवाल पूछ के उसका क्रॉस एग्जामिनेशन भी कर सकता है. दैट इज डाइंग डिपोजिशन. It is having more legal weight because it is recorded by the magistrate and there is a chance of cross examination by the opposite lawyer and it is having full legal value even if the patient survives. अगर पेशेंट पूरी तरह से रिकवर हो जाता है, कोर्ट में आ भी सकता है, then also this dying deposition will have more legal value because he has been cross examined and all the statements have been done in front of the magistrate. So it is as good as a small courtroom in the hospital, in his room just beside his bed. It is as good as a small courtroom only. So it is having full legal value even if the patient survives. So these are the 2 small points, dying declaration and this is dying deposition, which is carried out in front of magistrate in presence of accused and his lawyer as well. Compos mentis is common, patient has to be compos mentis, otherwise you cannot take any statement. So got everyone? Courts, inquest, yes. इफ टाइम अलाउज म्हणजे आता तो माणूस ठीक आहे, आपल्याला माहिती आहे, डॉक्टरांना कळेलच ना साधारण हा मरू शकतो, हा सिरियस आहे, देर यू गो फॉर डाइंग डिक्लेरेशन. बट इफ यू नो की नाही ठीक आहे बाबा हा काय लगेच मरणार नाही, ट्रीटमेंट चालू आहे. अरे कोण गाणं म्हणतंय, लक्षात आलं का? आणि इफ द पेशंट इज नॉट सो मच क्रिटिकल, इफ द पेशंट इज नॉट सो मच क्रिटिकल, यू कॅन अरेंज फॉर मॅजिस्ट्रेट, यू कॅन अरेंज फॉर द अक्यूज्ड, संशयिताला पण तुम्ही घेऊन येऊ शकता and it will have more legal weightage because all the process has been carried just like court by taking the oath and by cross examining by the opposite lawyer. Got the difference? Okay, so we have finished with inquest, all 3 types of inquest carried out in India, then summons and dying declaration and dying deposition. All these are short, important short points commonly asked as a short note and 2-mark question. And these also questions are very common in oral exam. In orals also these questions are very commonly asked. Compos mentis and all. Generally the examiner asks what is compos mentis. If the student is not able to answer what is compos mentis, examiner will ask you the next question. Guess what question examiner will ask? Are you compos mentis right now? In this way, the examiner asks the questions, and patient. So many times the students say, "No, no, I am not compass practice like this." Okay, then today we will stop here. I think it is enough for today.